Hi everyone, welcome back to Biz Creations. If you are new to my channel, I hope you would like what you see and don't forget to subscribe. Today's video is beginners friendly. As you all know, I have been uploading new sewing video every week, but I haven't been going into details on how I cut the pattern pieces, the fabric and all that. Today's video will be a series of part 1 and part 2. I'm trying to make my videos very short. So that's the reason when I sew my garments, I don't go into details on showing how I cut the pattern pieces. So I figured if I have a video that goes into details on how I cut a pattern and how I lay down everything and understanding of the pattern, that will definitely be for beginners, and I could always refer to that video when I'm sewing a garment. When I first started sewing, I used to go and watch videos, but I felt like I was so eager to start sewing, I really didn't take my time to go over certain videos to understand the pattern pieces before I started sewing. Trust me, I made a lot of mistakes. The reason I'm doing this video is to go over some of the descriptions inside of the patterns, where if you understand those meanings first before you start sewing, it will make your life easier and you will be very pleased with your garment at the end. If you are new to sewing, this video is definitely for you. Part 1 today will be me showing you how I take my body measurements. I will go over the patterns descriptions so you guys could know the meanings in different terms and symbols of what's inside the pattern. And then in part 2, I will show you how I lay out the pattern pieces and cut the fabric and all that. For the purpose of this video, I will be making this top. It is super cute, guys, and I love it. I will be making view C. I haven't done anything to it yet, so I'm planning on doing the whole thing on camera. That way you guys could see the process of making this top. It is so cute and I can't wait. Let's get started with part 1 of this video. Okay, you guys, for the purpose of this video, this is the pattern that I will be using today. I will be making view C. So first thing first, when you get your pattern, you will see the name. This one is a McCall's pattern, so you will see the name here, and then all the patterns are labeled. You will see the numbers. This is the pattern numbers, M7836. You're looking at the front of your pattern. Make sure you pay attention to this letter and number here. This one says A5 and it gives you the different sizes that's inside of this specific envelope. If this one was E5, you would have had sizes from 14 to 22 or whatever the sizes the patterns have. So but you normally it's from 14 to 22, I believe. So let's say if you are a size 10 and then you pick a pattern size that says E5 here, you will not have the correct size for your garment. Trust me, I know. So you always want to make sure that you pay close attention to the front of your pattern and pay attention to this right there and the sizes. That way you know exactly what are the sizes inside this pattern. Some of them have all of the sizes in one envelope, so it's okay if it's that in that case it will be fine if you have all the sizes in there. But if they divided them into two, you need to know if it's A5 or E5 that you're picking. And then you have the pictures of different views in your pattern. So for this pattern, you have view A, view B, view C, and view D. As you can see, all of them are different style in that same pattern that you can use. Let's read the back of the pattern. Okay, On top here, you still will have the pattern's number in the name and the number. Okay, so now this here is your body measurement. This is why it is very important before you go purchase your pattern to know your body measurement. This is a must have. You cannot go into a store, grab a pattern without knowing your body measurement. Let's check how to take your body measurement, and then we'll come back to this here. For the purpose of this video, I wore a sport bra, but I would advise you to wear whichever bra that you know you're gonna be wearing with your garment when you're taking your measurement, because especially for your bust side, a sport bra might give you a different size versus if you wear your push-up bra or whatever bra that you know you're gonna wear. So this is the bra you should wear when you're taking your measurement. One thing I have to mention, before you go purchase your pattern, you only need 3 major body measurements, which are your bust line measurement, your waist measurement, and your hip measurement. In this video today, I will show you more than those 3 body measurements, but those are the 3 that you really need to focus on when you're getting your pattern. I tied a piece of elastic around my waistline. That part is optional, but I did that so I could be sure where my waistline is. Make sure it stays there so I could identify where my waistline is when I'm taking the measurements. To get started, I make sure that I have my tape measurement, a piece of paper, and a pen. Make sure to wear clothes that are very fitted. That way you get a correct measurement. I wrap the tape around my bust line. Make sure I check in the back that the tape measurement is flat, and I write down the number. Next, I'm checking my waistline. I place the tape measurement on top of the elastic that I have there and make sure it's flat. Make sure it lays flat in the back. Okay, and I'm also gonna check it by just bending to the side where the fold is. That's where my waistline is, and write down the number. Next, I'm checking my hip measurement. That's by placing the tape measurement around my hip. You make sure the tape measurement lays flat, and you wrap it around the biggest part of your buttocks. Write that measurement. Next, I'm checking the bust to my waistline. I place the tape measurement on top of my nipple point and down to the waistline. Next, I'm checking the waist to hip measurement. I'm placing the tape measurement where my waistline is, down to the hip line, and write that number down. Next, I'm checking for the length. Try not to bend down when you do this to make sure that you have the correct measurement. You place it on top of your shoulder bone here, and then down you can check to see the length from there. One thing that I forgot to when I was taking the measurement is the shoulder to nipple point. So I'm just gonna explain that, but I forgot to tape that. For shoulder to nipple point, I will have the tape measurement on top of my shoulder bone and then down to the nipple point. This is a measurement that you also need. Next, I'm checking my across shoulder measurement. So I place the tape on my where my shoulder bone is, across the back on both shoulders. Next, I'm checking my nipple to nipple point. Okay, so I make sure I place the measuring tape on top of each nipple point and then write that measurement down. I know based on my body measurements for this top, I fall under 14. So I'm gonna circle this here. This is my size here for this top. So now this is where you pull out your sheet where you have your body measurements. So you look for your bust size. So you go down that line. For me, I know my bust size is 36. This is why I fall under size 14. I know my waist measurement was 30. So as you can see, for 30, I fall under size 16. So this is something I'm gonna go over later too. But so far I know whatever the patterns, whatever my size should be between 14 and 16, because you can curve it away to get to that 16 size for your waist if that was a dress. I'm gonna show you later where it may not be necessary for me to go to a size 16 even though my waist measurement is 30. But in some other cases, if it's a dress where you really need the correct size for your waist, so what you simply will do is make sure you merge when you're cutting your pattern on size 14 for your bust, you will merge to size 16 to cut your waist measurement. Okay, that's for later. And then you need your hip measurement. So I go down this line and I know my hip measurement is 40. Okay, so again, I fall under 16. So whatever the pattern pieces I'm cutting should be between 14 and 16 based on the body measurement. Okay, now this one is the back waist length. So I don't really pay too much attention to this, but you could also measure that. So one thing I have to mention here, you won't find this in all patterns. So you will only find this if the pattern calls for you to use a stretch knit. Okay, so this is like a ruler they have here. You can use that to stretch your fabric to see if your fabric has enough stretch for this garment. This is where they tell you if the pattern is easy or if it's moderate. They will word it a different way, but here you will know that this is an easy to follow pattern. So it says easy, facile in French, of course. And here they give you a brief description of the top, of the different view that this pattern has. Mrs. Tops fitted pullover tops feature dropped shoulder and sleeves variations. C, cold shoulder details. D, cold shoulder detail. Top stitched front slip and pleated sleeves. So it tells you the different sleeves variation with this project. Here is where you have the that's what I talked about before, the combinations of sizes. So for this pattern, when we saw up front that this pattern is a A5, so I know it starts from size 6 to 14, and if this one was E5, it would be 14 to 22. We already went over that. Great. This one gives you suggestions of different fabric that you could use for this specific project. Moderate stretch knits, 35% cross grain, cotton knits, sweater knits, point knits, and French terry. These are the different type of knit fabric that you can use for this pattern. Here you know that your size is 14. I know my size is 14. Okay, so I go there, and A, B, C, D, that's different view for the pattern. Okay, so and that 60 inch is the width of your fabric. So this one could be 60 or 45 because there's different width of fabric. Now you go on the size 14, okay? So I know I'm making view C, right? It's right here. So view C, I'm gonna go down on that line to look for that. This is where you look for yardage. You wanna know how much yard of fabric that you need to buy to make this pattern, this top. So for my size 14, I need 1 3/8 yards of fabric. Okay, so this is the most important part of it. Your finished garment measurements. Okay, so I still have my size here. Whatever I'm looking, when I still have my size here. So whenever I'm checking for something, I always have to go under the size that I fitted for. So size 14 here, it says here when you go down for the finished garment measurement. What is that? Finished garment measurement is the final number that they give you, the final measurement that you have after you add wearing ease and seam allowance to your garment. So it is very important to make sure, although you know your size already here, but don't just go just by that. The last number you should be looking at is this finished garment measurement. Trust me, I know. When I go here 14, okay, I go down, it says here my finished garment measurement number will be 39, and I know my bust measurement is 36, so this one says 39. So I don't want my top to be tight, so because this top, it should be very loose fitted. So I already know now, since it's like 39 inches, so I will be fine when I make this top. Okay, so I don't want to take size 12, although size 12 will probably fit me because the bust size is 37, but it will not be a loose fitted top, so it would be kind of snug. You have the width lower edge, so basically this is the length of your project, so I don't really worry about this. But what you want to know is this here, your bust line. Okay, and this pattern may not be the best pattern that I should have picked to give descriptions of pattern because it doesn't have your waist size and hip. Okay, but everything I said here, you will do the same if you were making a dress or a skirt. Everything will still be the same. You still will pick from base of your body measurement, your waist, your bust, and your hip. You will pick the sizes here, and then when you go down there to the finished garment measurement, you will make sure that, let me show you a different pattern. Okay, you guys, I have here a simplicity pattern to show you something different. The informations are all the same, whether it's simplicity, Vogue patterns, McCall's, they're all the same. The layout may be different, but all the information should be the same. So I just wanted to show you guys a different pattern. Actually, I made this garment about 2 years ago, and that was one of the mistakes that I made. This is why I bring this in, so I could show you what that will conclude everything I said. Make sure to check the finished garment measurements. So like, this is simplicity. I made this view here, okay, to show you that everything is the same. When I checked my body measurements and everything, I was still size 14 for this garment. So I was very excited to make it. I went here, okay, this is my size here, size 14. Obviously I didn't check everything, so that's why I made a mistake. I'm gonna tell you. So I chose here size 14. Go down here, I check my finished garment measurements right here. Okay, it says the bust size will be 38, and which really was okay because I'm 36, and the top fitted me so well and very loose. I was okay with that. And then the skirt, this is CD. The skirt here, right, for the hip, The final measurement here is 39.5. When I checked, my hip measurement was 40. So, which means that it was okay for me to have the bust measurement. The top was 38, everything was fine. It fitted very loose because right here, as you can see, it's 38" for your bust measurement. With the finished garment measurement, it's 38". I was fine with that, but the hip right there is 39.5. So, and I'm 40, so clearly I should never cut size 14 for the skirt part of this garment, which I did. So 39.5, I was still able to wear it. It was okay, but I know it wasn't comfortable around my waist. Always pay attention to that final measurement, because this is a clear example where I can cut size 14, okay, for the top, yes, but for the skirt I should have cut size 16, which would have given me 41.5, right, 41.5" for the hip, and I would have been fine. Okay, so this is one thing I really wanted to show you guys quickly. Basically went over everything. So this section right there is for French and Spanish. Okay, so we went over everything, which in conclusion, this is what you should always focus on. And this is a diagram of the tops. So you have here they show you what the front looks like and the back. Okay, that's front and back, and so on. So this, and that's all for the pattern envelope. Okay, you guys, that concludes part 1 of the video. I will see you next week for part 2, where I will go over what's inside of your pattern envelope. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you on my next video.